Welcome back to the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. Let's continue the conversation with the Pirates, who just lost 3 of their last 5 games to the Cubs and Cardinals at home. Now, I don't think the manager is responsible for too many games throughout the season, but I have to question some of the moves that he made this week with the lineup, some pitching moves. Chris, I mean, putting a lineup on the field on Wednesday with 3 sub-200 players and then leaving Alex McRae in the other night. And then today, Jordan Luplow pinch hitting. I mean, I got to question some of these moves right now, and I don't really like to question Clint Hurdle too often.
Well, let's work in reverse order here. First of all, David Freese even spoke after the game today and said, hey, I couldn't go today. It kept bothering me throughout the night, an injury he sustained Friday, played through it yesterday. Didn't feel like he could go today, so he was unavailable. So all of us who harangued Clint Hurdle on social media this afternoon, a mea culpa to him as Freese was not available. But I will say that when you leave Alex McRae in, or bring him in, I should say, you've just tied the ball game up. The building is, you're tied up in a big game, a Saturday night game against the St. Louis Cardinals. You can get yourself a series win if you win the ball game. And instead of going to Richard Rodriguez, you go to Alex McRae. And Alex McRae stays in after he goes double single to lead off that inning and give the lead to the Cardinals. You don't yank him. You don't get somebody in there to clean up the mess. You let the kid roll to the point where he batted for himself in the inning. That one, I don't care how many excuses Clint Hurdle has for it, is not what you do if you really consider yourself to be a ball club in contention. And one final point, Sean Rodriguez cannot be starting anymore. I don't care what you have to do. You found at-bats for Francisco Cervelli at first base. Find some at-bats for Adam Frazier at shortstop. This is not a gold glove infield. Your defense can't get much worse on the infield. Put Frazier at short when Jordy Mercer needs a day off. I've had enough of Sean Rod, as nice a guy as he is.
Well, I think we all have had enough of Sean Rodriguez. Boy, I don't want to see Frazier at shortstop, though. I hate to see him even at second base.
He played it all through college, Ron. He played it throughout the minors.
Doesn't look very good to me at second base, let alone put him at a tough position like shortstop. I can't defend the McRae move last night. I'm sure Hurdle probably said his starters gave him nothing Friday night, nothing Saturday. Go back to the Cubs game Wednesday. I think he said 9 1/3 innings out of 3 starters. You don't want to kill your bullpen. The next day off isn't until a week from Monday. I get that part of it. But this was the Cardinals. This was an important series. I might have taken a chance by going someone else in that bullpen. I'm with you on that. Rodriguez can't play anymore. I'm with you. He should be replaced on the roster, quite honestly.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement, guys. The McRae decision really bothered me. They were off on Monday and Thursday. That was a 2-game series against the Cubs. 2 days off this week. The bullpen was completely fresh. That was a 4-4 ball game. It was not a 12-4 ball game. I don't understand what Clint was thinking there. As for Rodriguez, if you look back throughout this season, really, the amount of at-bats he has had is stunning. I realize Hurdle doesn't have the 27 Yankees, but it's not that bad of a roster that he's been given this season. I am just amazed that Rodriguez has had this many pivotal at-bats this season. Maybe it hasn't cost the Pirates a bunch of games, but you know what? It may have cost them a couple, and this time of year, that's a really big deal.
He's a 163 hitter.
It's ridiculous.
And he got 6 of the 12 the Reds in that series when he hit 2 home runs right after the All-Star break. They've got to have somebody better than that, and I think we all appreciate what a good guy is, and the team loves him, and he's great in that clubhouse, but this is a results-oriented business, and he's just not getting it done. Although I don't think he was their biggest problem all year, he certainly has been a part of it.
Yeah, now he's a defensive liability, too.
Yes.
He can't hit, and he can't field.
Yeah, that's his one strength, right? And boy, it hasn't been for the last month in the least.
Well, in this infield as a whole, you look at range factor, you look at zone rating. I talked to Clint about it this morning, and he admitted their infield defense does not get to the balls that they got to a couple of years ago. When you've got a pitching staff full of ground ball guys, you've got basically 2 guys on this pitching staff, at least in the rotation, that can go up in the zone and strike people out like Tyone and Archer do, and the rest are ground ball guys, pitch to contact guys. You better have a solid defense behind. Be solid and steady out there at short. He doesn't get to the extraordinary plays. Colin Moran and Josh Bell, when he's healthy at the corners, are like a couple of cinder blocks as far as range goes at the corners. You don't have great infield defense right now. Rodriguez isn't helping that.
Real quick, do you see these guys making any more moves? The trade deadline was Tuesday, but they can acquire some other guys through the waiver wire. Chris, do you see them doing anything here in the next month?
Well, if they really legitimately consider themselves in it, just 5 games out of the wild card with 2 months to go, then I think they need to add some depth on the bench. And that's something that you can go out and get at this time of year in the month of August when there are waiver moves being made. You saw the Brewers and Cardinals today both go out. They've both had issues with their starting rotations. They both claim guys off waivers from the San Diego Padres. You can't tell me there aren't guys. Nearly everybody gets thrown on the waiver wire this time of year. Go out, find somebody to help not just your infield defense, but more importantly, get you some key at-bats late in ball games off the bench.
Well, I think with the schedule they have ahead, it's more likely if they fall out of it, they'll be sellers again by the end of August. I could see Mercer moving. I could see Freese moving. I could see Harrison moving. I don't know who's going to take that contract for next year. He does have a buyout. I think they could definitely be a seller more likely than add somebody else at the end of August.
That would be the most Pirates thing ever, by the way. But I think we can all agree this road trip coming up to Colorado, San Francisco, and Minnesota, this will determine what they do the rest of the year, no doubt, in my opinion.
All right, now let's go around the horn for this week's Smooth Moves, brought to you by Pittsburgh's largest supplier of the smoothest granite, marble, and quartz countertops, Armina Stone. Let's start with you, Josh. What's your smooth move of the week?
A smooth move goes to Lev Bell. I will spare you some of the details since this is a family show. This is a sarcastic smooth move. He's an incredible football player, but he becomes a bigger idiot every single week. His social media persona is completely out of control. Maybe his agent would like to say, hey, Lev, maybe you should just cool it for a couple of weeks until the season starts because you're really starting to embarrass yourself.
You might be a first, Josh, with sarcasm in the smooth move. It's usually something positive here. I like the Pitt quarterback, that kid Pickett, taking control of this team, playing one game last year against Miami. I like his attitude coming into camp. We'll see how he can play. A quarterback has to run the team, and when I read the other day that he even yells at the senior offensive lineman and gets away with it, I'm pretty impressed.
I'm going to double down on the sarcasm. Not the first time we've done that together, Josh, and say my smooth move of the week goes to ESPN. A couple months ago, they lay off Brett McMurphy. Guess who breaks the biggest college football story of the year just this week? Brett McMurphy exposing Urban Meyer and Zach Smith at Ohio State. And then they pick up the story and have McMurphy on SportsCenter that night. Smooth move, ESPN.
And those are Smooth Moves of the Week, brought to you by Armina Stone, who features Pittsburgh's largest indoor stone gallery of granite and marble countertops imported from all over the world to give you the smoothest countertops in the area. Score a touchdown with new granite countertops from Armina Stone, the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. We'll be right back.